I did. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Black Spitter Music Podcast. Joining me today, of course, is the co-host Al Horta. How's it going, Al?
Hey Andy, how are you, brother?
Yeah,
I'm
man, we're
doing good,
doing
man.
okay.
Excited for this show, man.
Very excited about this show. We got a very, very, very special guest with us from the band Dawn of the Rising, hard rock heavy metal band out of the Phoenix, Arizona area. We've got Ray Kuhn on vocals with us tonight, and
How you
also
doing?
we're doing good, Ray. Thanks for being here with us, and also
Thank
Ignacio,
you.
and also lead guitarist Ignacio. We call him Iggy for short. Is also with us. Thank you guys for being here. It's very special that y'all are here, and a special meaning that they're here today. They've got a new album coming out this Friday, on the 19th, called "Win, Lose, or Draw." And it is going to be available on CD and also on all streaming formats. Hey guys, why don't y'all talk about the new album a little bit?
Go ahead,
Go
Ray.
ahead, Iggy.
Well, all right. Thank you for having us again, guys. I mean, it's a
Of
total
course.
honor to be with you. It's been a
Oh
while.
yeah, man.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. Dawn of the Rising's new album, Win, Lose or Draw. It's going to be available on all streaming platforms, like you mentioned, on Friday. So tune in, update your subscriptions to all the platforms that you use, Pandora, Spotify, whatever. Music is going to be available also for digital purchase, and locally, we're going to have it on our CD release show on January 27th, which is not this Saturday, the following Saturday. We're going to be playing in Phoenix in the Blues Bar. So we're going to have hard copies over there. Plus, we're going to be doing raffles and a few extra goodies there. I mean, we got to celebrate this release in all possible matters, and bring all the Dawn of the Rising family with us. So, absolutely.
Oh, that's great. And what was the how long have y'all been working on this new album? Because I know that y'all released an EP just a short time ago.
Yes. Well, we've been working on this album for about 2 years because, first of all, I mean, all the delays that we had with COVID, we put our major
Right.
effort in releasing that EP so that way everybody had something new and fresh to sit and watch and listen while we were all at home and there were no shows going on at that moment. And right after that, we kept on working on new material, which we've been adding to the album. And it's been a busy year and a half for us. I mean, between shows, recording, it's incredible. But we've done already between 2022 and 23, 2021 and 22 over 50 shows already, which
Yeah.
is nuts.
Yeah. That's great to be back out there because I'm sure y'all wanted to be out there, but there was so much going on and places were closed and music all around has just been exploding since the opening of everything being done. Man,
Correct.
sometimes it felt like nothing was going to open for a long time. It felt like a long time. It really was a long time.
You
Um,
know how many shows were, for example, canceled or either postponed because of the COVID thing, and then all of a sudden they were planning on opening back again the venues and shutdowns again.
yeah,
It was tough. I mean, for any musician and anyone in the industry, it was pretty hard. I mean, so
yeah,
we I gotta say it, but we kind of took advantage of the disadvantage, put a lot of effort working on material, doing the release of the videos that we did and all that, and I gotta say it paid off. I mean, because it did gather more attention. People that didn't know us now know who Donald the Rising is, and also that opened up opportunities like last October that unexpectedly we landed on Nashville nominees for Rock Band of the Year at the Justin Music Awards, which we were like shocked and stoked because we
oh
didn't
wow,
expect that. And funny thing, and Rick is witness because we both went there. People knew who we were when we were at the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville,
That's
so
awesome.
that's a good thing.
yeah, that's
People
great.
actually they recognize us. So
Yeah, that's huge because then that spreads out to different industries and really gets the word out some more. So Ray, how was it for you with the making of this album?
I really liked it because we got to write the things that about the things going on today, and how things have changed since 2020, how everything has changed. And so there's a lot of emotion in this record, and there's a lot of anger and everything. So our emotion got to come out in the writing. I also got to do some engineering on a few of these songs myself, because the place where the library studios, our friend Brandon Kruziniak, he recently moved to North Carolina, and his house, he had to take the studio down, so there were 3 songs left on the table. That's took a little bit of time, because I ended up capturing the tracks and mixing those, but we still sent them to him for mastering. So I ended up having to do some engineering on this as well. So it was exciting for me to actually take the wheel a little bit, not just as a singer and songwriter, but to be on the technical end of it a little bit.
Oh, that's awesome. Because you're dealing with your music, and that means more than having someone else to tickle to do what they wanted to do with it. So that's pretty cool. That's neat.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we were just talking about this the other day on Black Spinner. Everything that this country or this whole world has been going through with the COVID, that there hasn't been enough music to stimulate or to talk more about it. What
Right.
going through, it seems like a lot of people are scared to put it down on wax. So it's great that y'all are doing that. On
Yeah, and I'd like to get this eventually on vinyl. It's a little expensive,
right.
but eventually I'd like to get a few vinyl records. Right now it'll be just the physical hard copies will be just CDs at this point, but we will look into vinyl as soon as we can afford it as a band.
Oh, well, also, but CD sales are on the way up. There's a lot of CDs are really coming back because of the prices of vinyl. I mean, half price you can get a new CD. So
That's
Mhm.
real.
that's going up.
Yep. And here's the thing. I mean, about the physical media. I mean, even though that now the digital platforms kind of screw up record sales itself,
Right.
but there's still people that actually, for the nostalgic or whatever, they like the physical copies.
Oh, I
I
love
mean,
it.
people come and reach us
Get
on the
behind
shows
us,
for yeah, exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
People reach out to us in the shows like, oh, you got CDs left? I want a CD from your EP. Well, we sold out the first batch of that from the EP. I
Right.
mean, the only copies out there that they are available is what we got as a band, because each one of us kept a copy.
Of course.
Yeah, I got a lot of friends that love hard copies. Like the Yeti Radio, a friend of ours, you guys may have seen him on our page a couple times. We went on there and did an interview. Plus he comes to every show. He's a great local staple here in Phoenix, Arizona. He goes out and supports all the bands, even out of town when he can. But he has a library just like yours in his studio. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
And it's nice to go and look through stuff like that, because you're like, oh, I remember that record. Oh, I had that one. You know what I mean? Or I wanted that one.
Yeah, it's so special when you're able to hold something in your hand and take out the booklet and read all about it because us
look at the
uh,
pictures, everything.
yeah,
Read the lyrics if
pictures
there's
and
lyrics on
music
it.
and then
Definitely.
you find out that band members did more than just play the instruments. They were intricate in making in the process of the album. So that's
Yeah, I can
really
see.
cool.
I'll see Ray Kuhn, engineer or something on there. You know what I
I'm
mean?
not sure if I put that in there or not. Maybe I did, or I might have just used Dawn of the Rising,
Right.
because pretty much we're a team.
It's a
Like even
collaborative.
in our copyrights, we share everything equally. We don't, like, if I bring a song or Iggy brings a song or my son brings a song, it don't matter who brought the idea.
Mhm.
We all pitch in, and we feel like everybody should have an input on that. And then nobody should really be like I'm the sole songwriter of this one.
Right.
We were just
Because
Yeah.
talking about
I
that
mean,
too.
I mean, everything that we do it as a band.
Yeah.
There's no egos, no me. In regards of 5 of us, I mean, what we put in is all our effort, all our knowledge or all of our ideas together, and that's what the Dawn of the Rising is actually is.
Right.
It's all
And
of us
everybody's
together.
opinion counts, you know.
Yeah. Because
Even though that I am the one that takes the beatings most of the time, but
Let me ask, how'd you guys was there any inspiration for the title of the album, Win, Lose or Draw, or just a title you guys thought up of, off the cuff?
Yeah, I think it's like after all of that we've been through, as a band through the pandemic and everything else with the industry, how it's on its ear kind of, but we're all still doing it. And I'm proud of every band out there that still plugs away with how expensive it is to run a band nowadays. I mean, you pay a lot out of your pocket just to be in a band now because it takes money to make money, and it's not like it used to be. So it's like, this is all or nothing, win, lose or draw. We're putting our music out here and we're going to try to go as far as we can on the road with the funds that we have in our pockets and around the world as much as we can, even if it's not physically, digitally. We do the best we can with what we got. And I think the title explained it all.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Wow.
So you guys were formed in 2014, right?
Yes. Well, kind of 2015, but it came to fruition. And our first show was opening for Armored Saint
Awesome.
at Club Red in 2016. And that was awesome. Yeah, because we were like, that was one of my favorites. John Bush is an incredible singer also, and Anthrax for a bit. And so for us to do that, and my son, that was his first big show ever in his life. So I was excited more for him, even though I was a fan too. Like, I wasn't just singing that night, I was there as a fan. Like, I would have bought a ticket,
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Actually, this year's the 8th anniversary, right, of Dawn of the Rising as a band.
Yes.
Wow.
That's cool. So you guys have, it's 2 EPs you guys have?
Well, we have actually, we had a very beginning EP which never saw the light of day.
Okay.
We had a brother named TK, Thomas Keating Mount. He passed away from cancer. And when he passed away, we never got distribution for that or anything, but it's, in our archives somewhere around here. And then we did a full-length record with another guy that I don't want to mention because he turned out to be a shyster, and we had to pull a 12-song full-length record, Airwaves, off and I'm going to fight to get that back on the map soon. I paid for everything, production. I paid for all of it, but he had a little bit of writing in each. So he, tried to steal everything. And then he tried to tell me I didn't have rights or whatever for, the songs. And I stole songs from TK, a bunch of stupid stuff, but he got fired. And I had to pull the record because he kept trying to monetize everything. But I figured, you know what? We can write new music, and I'll get back to that later on. And like I said, it was a 5-part thing on that record. So everybody put a little bit in on it. So it wasn't just his, but he was just being a brat because he didn't get his way. And he tried to ruin the fun for everyone. So I just pulled that record off everything. And we started writing with Ignacio when he came in.
Right there. Looks like we got another member joining in here.
Yeah, Ricky just joined.
Mr. Ricky.
Hey, Ricky, how are you?
How's it going?
Yeah, that's our bass player, Ricky. You figured it out, huh?
I just started pushing buttons and shit happened. That's all I know. Now I see everybody and I'm like, oh shit, I'm in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey.
Welcome.
Hey, baby, I'm on.
I'm sitting here watching TV and I saw it come up and I thought, let me see how this thing works. And all of a sudden, boom, I just see faces and heads. So
it would have been worse if you were like, oh, is this working?
Yeah.
All right.
Every time I throw these things and I can't get it to work after a few minutes, or
Well,
call kids.
at least it wasn't in a bathroom.
Oh,
true. No, that's true. That's true. That's very true.
It's working. Oh.
I might have scared myself.
Um,
Who knows?
Oh well, I'm very glad that you were able to join us, Mr. Ricky. What we're just talking right now was about the beginning of the bands and the output that y'all have been able to put out there. So that's what
Oh,
we're in the middle of, and the two
right
EPs and
on.
the new album that's coming out on Friday.
Yeah,
So
for
you
sure.
came in
For
for
sure.
spot.
For
So
sure. Nice.
so what do you think about the new album that's coming out, Ricky?
I like it actually. I think Brandon Kuzniak, who did the that's how you do say his last name, right?
Yeah,
Kuzniak.
it's close.
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
I was close to the hours, but I think he did really good work on it. Actually, the recordings are solid, and he does good work anyways. Video work, recording us. He's done a great job on it. So I'm pretty stoked about it. See how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did all our videos
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
as well.
You guys got
Brad,
what
Brad,
four? You guys
Brandon
got
has
what
been
four
this.
videos total?
Yeah, like I said, we had even more with the other record. We've done like 8 videos with him in total, but I had to pull those as well.
Okay.
But the 4 that are out there from this record, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that album that you were talking about that you had to put was available on Apple for a while, and then it was taken down. Is that correct?
Yes, it was on most platforms and on hard copy CDs. But like I said, I paid for everything on that. So eventually I will get back, everything. I just gotta, do my things, my diligence and port.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You're gonna have to make more money to get everything back.
Exactly.
It's like a seesaw thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? We're a talented band and we can write new music until we can bring that back. You know what I mean? I'm not going to let one bad seed, ruin the whole plant,
Yeah.
There's always seeds out. There's always
Save it.
seeds out
Save
there.
it for the rarities box set when it comes out. Like 20 years,
Right.
the 20th anniversary of Dawn of the Rising. Save it for the box set.
Absolutely.
bootleg.
And I think
The
that's kind of
bootleg.
fun for the fans. And I still sell the hard copies at shows because, like I said, I am the one who invested in all of that, like everything.
Yeah.
And I sang and wrote every single lyric and melody line. And as everyone else in the band that recorded on it, like I said, everything's a fifth. So he's not the sole proprietor of anything, but he thinks he is. And, it's always one of those.
Yeah,
That's the music business.
Yep. We always enjoy the music, but then we never know the shitty stuff that goes on in the background.
Right. Right.
That sucks.
That's a true
Yeah.
fact. I mean, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And just producing an album, recording,
All that
it's
headache.
crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's not just playing music and hitting record and having a great time and everything's hunky dory. There's always a lot of hard work and stuff that goes on. Hey there, Mr. Ricky. Have you been with the band since the beginning?
No, I think I came in. It's actually really kind of funny because I've known Ray for, God, I don't know, Ray, how has it been? 15, 20 years now? At least that. I would say
At least. I say 05, right? Or 04 or 05
Something
when
like
I was
that.
in Trip Lever.
Yeah,
I was in
something like
that band right there on the wall.
Yeah,
Oh my
we
God,
were in two separate
I was
bands.
back then in my dad's left testicle apartment B.
Yeah.
We played in two separate bands, but we played together a lot, and so we worked together before, and years later and stuff, my band had broken. Well, I guess both of our bands kind of went our separate ways, and years and years and years later, I did a reunion show with the old band, and right after that, I pretty much thought it was going to be a retirement mode, but I wasn't ready to stop. And just ironically, about a month or so after that, Ray hit me up and asked if I wanted to sit in with a show or two. And
Graham Bonnet.
Yeah, it was Graham Bonnet was the first, and Y&T was the second. So they kind of shot me over all these songs, and I had 2 or 3 weeks to learn them all or something to go climb on stage. And I was nervous as hell, and I jumped right into it. And they came to me after the Graham Bonnet and asked me if I just wanted to stay permanently. And I wasn't doing anything much. I said, sure. I dug what was going on. I liked the music. I liked the crowds. and I
Yeah.
just decided to stay involved. So I would say probably since like I think it was like 2017 I've been with
Oh,
them.
okay. Okay, so still, that's a good strong 6 or 7 years. That is,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
guys.
yeah. So we've done quite a bit since then. It's um, just like you were saying, there's always two sides to a band. Most people only see the one side, the glam and the glitz and the on stage thing, but there's a lot of hard work on the back side of it too. There's recording, a lot of decision making, things like that go on. Most people don't know about. So
Yeah.
if you can make it past that point, then you can do practically anything with a band. That's my opinion, anyhow. But
Well, it
fact.
sounds like y'all are on the right path. It really does sound like y'all are on the right path.
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
so we have reached the point of the show where we have a segment called "What's Spinning," where we talk about music that we've been listening to the past week. It could be new, old, or one of your favorites that you've been listening to on any format. So go ahead, Ignacio. What have you been spinning lately?
Oh well, I've been listening a lot to the new Lynch Mob album.
Hmm.
Dig it, quite good. Still back to the old Lynch Mob roots. So still very happy with that album. And
George
everything that I
Lynch,
was
bro.
listening
George
recently,
Lynch, man.
Yeah,
Theo
Lynch
George.
Mob.
I love the vocals on
Actually,
that record.
I
He's
actually
got
had
a
the,
new.
the privilege of meeting him a few years back.
Oh, okay. I
Great
saw
guy.
him I saw him a few months ago down here in Florida. I live in Florida now. I just moved down here from New
Oh,
Jersey
okay.
couple months ago. So now, one of the first shows I wanted to go see was actually George Lynch, but it wasn't Lynch Mob. It was actually just George Lynch, and it was that band XYZ. I don't know if you ever heard of them or not or remember them, but
Yeah.
they came out with one or two albums, I think the late 80s, early 90s, and then kind of faded away with the whole changing of the scene. We all know how that went. But they were playing too with him, and they ended up being like his backup band. Like when George went on, and they did all Dokken. It was all Dokken, man. So it was really cool. So I kind of like after the show, I kind of snuck around like the building. I wanted to see if I could kind of meet him, but I don't know if he like snuck out early or something. Man, but I was
Probably did.
I wanted to
did.
try to meet him because I love George, man. As a guitar player myself, like he's one of the inspirations, man. I love Dokken growing up in the 80s and stuff. So but it was a cool show. But and he's got End Machine coming out too, a new album by End Machine, another project he has with Jeff Pilson, which is coming out soon. So I mean George is always putting out, man. I don't know how that guy.
Yeah, he's always busy. I mean, he's always doing something.
I know,
Either
man.
features or his own thing, or
Yeah.
There's always something.
Oh, with
Yeah.
Michael
The
Sweet,
cool
they're always
thing.
doing things.
Oh yeah, so the Sweet and Lynch duo also, that's pretty good.
Oh yeah, that's some fantastic stuff. What about you, Ray? What have you been spending this week?
KK's Priest.
Oh yes, that was a.
That was one of my picks of top picks of the last year. The end of the year list. And his album was in there. That's a great album, man.
Oh man, Ripper has always killed it. Like Judas Priest is my favorite band, heavy metal wise, and Rob Halford has been a main influence on me and my vocals. Him, the big four for me, Halford, Dio, Bruce Dickinson, and Tate are my big four. But I really, learned a lot from his techniques and whatnot, and I think Ripper, when he joined Priest, was the best fit of anybody if they were going to take over for the metal god. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah, man.
And I think he has his own voice too, in Ice Earth and all that. He's a great singer, man. He's just a phenomenal singer and still hits the notes.
Yeah, great. Yeah, Ripper's awesome. I remember when I first heard him in Priest. Man, I was like, "Fuck, dude, this guy's killing it, bro." I couldn't believe like the power, man, he had, man. But when you're gonna take over that spot, you can't be some sort of hack. You know what I mean? So
yeah, you got to be the top of the top.
Yeah.
And what about you, Mr.
It's hard
What
to.
have you been listening to lately?
My job doesn't allow me to listen to the radio much during the day. I work a lot, so
Right.
but when I do get a chance. This past week's been a lot of meetings in and out of places, but I'm going to go a lot more into the years a little bit. I've been listening to a lot more Slipknot more lately than anything. Now, it's a little weird, but it's one of my favorite. A little bit Alice in Chains thrown in there here and there. I dig Alice in Chains; they're one of my favorites. And a little bit of Tesla. We'll go a little bit old school there too. Tesla's
Great band.
Yeah, so just kind of a variety, but music is kind of more or less when I get home from work, and my old lady usually has the 80s on. Anything 80s wise, she's into. Van
That's like my wife too.
Yeah. Got it screaming on the Alexa thing, and it's screaming out, and I just let her do her thing with it. So it's a variety.
Yeah,
a variety. I would say a variety of everything this past week. But when I turn the radio on, I try to throw the phone or something on to Bluetooth it or whatever and stuff, and I'll probably most likely just throw whatever on there. But this week I've caught Slipknot probably a little bit more than anything more this week. So. But great band. I don't know how they could do 9 guys at one time. That totally amazing me. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them play live. If you've ever seen them play live, check them out. It's amazing. It's an amazing.
I've seen them live once. Yeah. It's pretty intense, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
They almost seem like they're out. They almost seem like they're out to hurt each other, man.
Right?
You know what I mean? I mean, it's very physical, man.
Yeah.
Same for the oldies but goodies, Mr. Big. I mean, that's another sick combo there to listen to.
Yeah. Big's good too. Yeah, remember back in the day. I didn't know for a long time there that Sid was like the DJ guy in Slipknot was like the craziest one, and he's broken arms and his legs. In fact, the last time I saw him here in Phoenix live, he was in a wheelchair because I guess he jumped off or something and broke both of his ankles.
Damn.
So he was in a wheelchair today. I guess they said he's just completely insane up there. I mean, he runs around and does some antics, but man, that's crazy. I don't know.
Jumped off the keg.
I have a hard time getting up a ladder anymore,
Yeah. Now, when they're on stage, you really need to keep both eyes on the whole stage. And I saw Godsmack live, and I've seen them a couple times, and I'll tell you, every time I've seen Godsmack, they just put on a really killer stage show. I mean, there's a lot of fire and just all sorts of stuff going on. I don't know if you've ever seen them live, but if you
quite a few times,
they do a really good show as well too. So
I've met Godsmack. I've met them guys, man. They're cool.
Nice.
Really cool. Yeah. That's awesome.
And their last album, Lighting Up the Sky, is
Woo!
a really good album by them. Yeah,
that guitar player, boy, he can shred, man. Especially live.
Yeah.
Tony Rombola, man. Tony Rombola is his name. Yeah, he's pretty underrated, dude. Like, he is good, man. He's good as hell, man.
I agree. I didn't even realize how good he was until I saw him live. Then I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
This guy should be up there with all George Lynch and everybody. No pun intended. I'm just saying. He's that good.
Yeah, it's a really good album that they came out with. And they're saying it's their last one. And if they go out this way, it was a great way to end their illustrious career. Oh, what have you been listening to, buddy?
Well, I'm this coming Saturday, I'm going to see the classic band Kansas. So I've been spinning like their greatest hits CD. I got a couple of their other albums, but I've just been kind of like taking this in the car and listening to it, and just I mean, how many great songs do they have, man? And
a million.
And even their newer stuff, their last 2 albums are really great too. And even though it's not the classic band anymore, there's like newer members that have come in now, but they seem to be reinvigorated, and like the material's really strong. So like the last 2, if you haven't checked out their last 2 albums, man, check them out because they're really good. It's right up there with like their classic stuff. So, So I'm excited to see them on Saturday. I've seen them twice before, so this will be my 3rd time. And
I worked a show. I do staging. I have most of my life. Now I'm a cook, but for a lot of my life, I've been a stagehand, lighting tech, audio tech, stage tech, backline, you name it. I worked Kansas one time, and I was just like my jaw was open the entire time. How old they are now, and they still were like phenomenal musicians, and the vocals were money. I mean,
Yeah.
I learned a lot like from that, and it also gave me hope that I can still do it at that age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool how these older bands try to be in the newer sound. A lot of them are going back to their bread and butter, to what their fans love, and that's what Kansas is doing too. They're just going back to what their fans love. What I've been spinning, I got this in the mail last week, and y'all know I'm a big Beatles fan, so I got this last week. It's Beatles on the Air BBC
Oh man,
live
Yeah,
That's a good one, dude.
volume 2. I was
that is cool.
Yeah, man. I'm really digging it, man, because to catch the Beatles on the BBC, just pretty much kicking ass and just playing stuff. It's great because when you hear their live stuff at shows, you really can't hear them because of the crowds all drowned out. So it's pretty cool to hear them live on a studio setting. So I'm really enjoying that. I'll probably talk about that next week too.
Cool.
And talking about live recordings
Yeah.
on our new album, there's a bonus track. I saw somebody earlier, Jerry. I didn't catch his last name,
Jerry
mentioning
Suki.
the Soupy. So thank you, Jerry, for the comment on the Rising. And actually, I encourage you to listen to the album on Friday because the bonus track is actually the Rising live here in Phoenix. So you're gonna get a little bit of what's done on the Rising live performing. So
Yeah. Yeah. Also,
Oh, Jerry brings up a good point. How can people get your new CD when it comes out? You go to your official website. How do you do it?
well, Ray, we're gonna be probably doing mail outs by order.
Yes.
So
Yeah, you could PM us on our Facebook page or message us on our .com page, and just leave a message and your address, and we'll mail one out to you, and we'll work out, how we get money or whatever.
PayPal. I'm sure probably
we can
PayPal or
PayPal, or even though
Venmo.
Facebook Pay, which we don't really like that much, but it's an option. I mean, there's options out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've taken at our last show, I took Facebook Pay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Tucson, we just played, and this kid, he didn't have anything, and Iggy and him couldn't link up, financially with Zelle or nothing. And
Right.
then I was like, you know what, you could just Facebook pay me, and he ended up paying me on Messenger for a couple shirts and a CD.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
And Jerry's always buying new music every week, so that's someone that you can sell to. Jerry's does a lot of podcasting with us. He's my co-host on my football podcast, and then
Nice.
Al and I are
Nice.
always on his BS sessions on Thursdays. So
Cool.
a lot with Jerry. He's a great guy, and he loves new music. So
Thank you, Jerry, for the kind words, man. Much respect, brother, and love.
Absolutely.
And so we're going to get to our topic of the top 15 songs by Metallica.
Yes.
Are you guys ready to go?
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right.
Oops.
All right. So we'll go.
Looks like Ricky might sit this one out, man. I don't know.
I have a couple favorites, but I can't name them all though. So I might just stand back.
It's kill them all, not name them all. No, just kidding.
Right.
It's Master of Puppets, not the Master of Muppets.
Right.
A really quick funny story about Metallica is I
Go
saw
for it,
them.
please.
I was about 12 years old. I was living in Germany at the time. I was a military brat, so my family was stationed over there, and they had what they call Monsters of Rock. It's a European edition of it, and so we had lied to our parents and told them that we were staying at each other's house, and we took a train down to Nuremberg where it was at, and it was a big giant field. And, you got to remember back in 81, 82, the big bands back then were, Quiet Riot, AC/DC, things like that. You know, Joe Cooper,
Okay.
Rainbow, things like that. You know, that was a thing back in the early '80s, and so I remember standing out there. And it was a big giant field, and on every corner they had a stage. So they'd have one band come on as soon as they'd play and be done, boom, another one would you just turn and go to the other stage, you know. So Metallica came on, and I think it was I can't remember if it was Kill 'Em All or Ride the Lightning or stuff, but they came out and just started thrashing, and everybody was just like looking at them like they were crazy because, you know, and you got to remember back in that early '80s, you know, rock music was a little different. Nobody was really thrashing like they did. So
Yeah,
it's like,
thrash wasn't even. Yeah, thrash was something nobody
Yeah.
heard of before, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of dug the shit out of it actually. So I kind of followed them a little bit, and then throughout the years, so I got to see the Ride the Lightning, Kill 'Em All, and the Master of Puppets live, and then saw them years later doing other stuff, Black Album, things like that, when they'd kind of gotten into their prime. But it was a crazy thing to see those guys go from that point, starting off being nobodies to being this big extravagant thing nowadays, you know. So I thought I'd just share that with you real fast on the
That's
Metallica
awesome,
thing.
man.
Oh yeah,
Nah,
that-
you saw them pretty early on. That's pretty damn cool, man.
yeah.
Yeah, and another thing, Motley Crue too as well. And they came out and everybody was laughing and saying, "What are these chicks with?" You know, because they were dressing with the bandana, the pink, and I mean that was in their. I mean, I think if I remember correctly, they were like an opener at that point, and yeah, it was funny. I mean, what are these guys dressed like chicks for? That's what everybody was saying, and nobody could get
Studs
it at
and
all.
leather.
Yeah,
Studs and leather is how they came out in. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just crazy seeing them come up from that point. These bands come up from that point in the '80s, you know, and yeah, it's just crazy. But what a kick-ass time! That's probably one of my most memorable concerts I've ever been to. And I was about 12 years old, so I shouldn't have probably been there anyways. But it was pretty cool. It was pretty
That's
cool.
awesome.
Back
Yeah,
in the old days when big hair and spandex were the trend.
Yeah.
And then here comes Metallica with t-shirts and jeans, just burning up the stage.
Right.
That's great. Well, even if you don't have them in order, please go ahead and share some of your favorite tracks by the band, Ricky. That'd be great.
I was always one of my favorites that they ever did was Fade to Black. I mean, you can't deny Fade to Black by Metallica. That is like, to me, one of their best songs they ever did. Of course, Kill 'Em All was good. God, now I'm going to draw a blank here. You know, most of their big stuff. You know, I think when they turned into the Black Album, the self-titled, I think that was more of a turning point for Metallica, in my opinion, only. Yeah. I think that's when they became more commercialized, you know, and people really started noticing them big at that point. When did that album come out? Like what, 88, 89
No,
or something?
91.
1991, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah. And so to me, that's like when they commercialized themselves and the world got to know them a lot better, you know, and that to me was a great album. It was a good album. Anything past that, I kind of lost it at that point. You know why? I didn't understand. I think they wanted to do a big change. You know, bands always have to, you know, change and stuff. So they tried some things, and you know, but who would have ever thought they would have became one of the biggest, you know, names of music history? Pretty much.
Right.
So
to conquer the world the way that they have.
Yeah. Still doing it. That's the crazy part, is that you guys are still going. Even, you know, they're going to be like you know, they never stop, you know. Rolling Stones or something, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, just to name a few of those were pretty good.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna go around and we're gonna you know, go track by track, and if anything comes to your head, man, when we come to you, just name it off. If not, we can just keep going, and it's no big deal, dude.
All right.
Go ahead, Ignacio. What are you gonna start off with?
Well, I gotta agree with Ricky. One of my favorite tracks from them is from the album Ride the Lightning, and it's Fade to Black. That's what, even though one of my favorite songs to play here at home to warm up.
So that's your 15?
That will be my well, yeah, I guess.
We're going backwards, right? Are we going from
No, we're going 15-1.
Okay, cool.
So
that's what I had my list as, yeah.
Okay.
Another one that I like a lot, it's Dire Thief. That's one of my favorite songs also from them.
Yeah.
Let's go one at a time, though.
Let's go one at a
Go
time.
around.
One at a time, Iggy.
Okay, what? Okay,
Go ahead, Ray.
Go, Ray.
All right. This one is inspired by my girlfriend because she kicks ass and inspires me a lot. It's Fuel because she's out there and she's a go-getter and inspires me. And that song reminds me of her. So I'll go with Fuel for my number 15.
Now,
Kristen.
Load or reload? Reload, right?
Reload, yeah.
Reload.
Yeah, her name's Kristen Dawn, just to give her a shout, yo.
Yeah. I think I've met her before, on the
Social media?
social media. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I talked to you during a show, right before our show, and she was there with you.
Oh, I'm sure.
All right.
All right, man. So
what do you
my
got?
15, I'm going to go to off of Master of Puppets. I'm going to go with Disposable Heroes. I love that deep track, and it's always been one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But this is hard for me, man. See, top 15, man. You're going in already into the cream of the crop for Metallica, man. And for me, and it's not a diss to their later stuff. I mean, for me, the cream of the crop is their first 4 albums. I grew up with that stuff. That was the stuff when I was going to high school, that when they were new and it was coming out. I mean, I was with them in real time since, like, pretty much Ride the Lightning. So, which is the first album by them I ever heard in 1985. And then I got Master of Puppets when it was new. And Just for All when it was new. And I first saw them on the Monster Rock tour over here in New Jersey in 1988 with Van Halen, Scorpions, Dokken, so that was the first time I ever saw them live. And they fucking wiped the floor with everybody on that bill, man, because they were just they just came out blazing, man. And I mean, everybody was really getting into them by that point. And Just for All wasn't even out yet. And they just came out like killing it, man, like they had something to prove. And they did. They
Definitely.
proved it, But my 15 is Disposable Heroes. So go ahead.
That's a good one.
Wow, and that's cool. Well, not cool, but they came out with Justice for All, and that tour, if I'm not mistaken, Van Halen was touring OU.
No, they weren't. No. Metallica did not have OU. Metallica did not have, and Just for All was not out yet.
Oh, it wasn't out yet.
It was not out yet. They did preview Harvester of Sorrow, a new track during that time, because that tour was in the summertime, and then after the summer was when And Justice for All came out. Finally came out, and then they finally, like, the following year in '89, they went on their own headlining tour. It was probably like their first headlining tour, big places, arenas, so that's when they became an arena band. They finally, so I remember Queensryche opened for them too on that tour.
Oh, wow, really?
Queensryche and the Cult. I remember where they
Nice.
opened. Yeah.
Nice.
Not on the same shows, though. They played different shows, different parts of the tour, but Queensryche was touring Mindcrime when I was out. So
very cool.
Yeah, that was cool, man. So anyway, that's my 15. Go ahead, Andy.
I'm going to start off kind of new. My number 15 is going to be the title track of their new album, 72 Seasons.
Sweet.
That's how I'm going to start off this album. That was my number 1 album for 2023. I thought it was fantastic. The songs were a little bit longer than they were previously. Pretty thrashy, too. When they've been going on their ups and downs. So it was a nice little return to form. So I'm going to give that album props and go back to 72 Seasons as what I'm going to lead off with. Ignacio, what's your number 14?
My 14, Dire Thief.
Oh, yeah.
That I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Ricky wants to add in anything else. You want to add something?
I'm trying to think. Well, I didn't really put together a 15. I wasn't even expecting coming on, honestly.
Just throw out a song that you like or something, man. That's all.
I'll just throw one out there that I always really dug, and I know it's not, they didn't get James to sing on it a lot, but Orion. That was always, just me being a bass player, it was always that thing at the end of Orion when Cliff Burton was doing that solo work on that. Mm-hmm. And, a few years back, I wanted to learn how to play that. So I sat there and I actually learned how to play that note to note all the way down the line. And I played along with it and I wanted it so perfect. It was funny.
Killer, man.
Yeah, it's just really cool bass line he did on that, of course. But that was just a good musical song. Period. No vocals in it or anything, but just a really kick-ass song. You know, you just put it on. You know, just
Cool.
It's such a great piece of music, Orion. It really is. It's a great piece.
Yeah.
Of music. Ray, what do you guys number 14?
Blackened from And Justice. It's just a killer song, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, man.
The riffs are hard and it hits, you know?
Yeah. That's how that album starts off. That's how And Justice for All starts off. And they even, what is it? It's a whiskey, right? What they came out with? That's
What's
called
that?
Blackened. Is it a whiskey?
Oh yeah, that's their whiskey now. It's their brand of whiskey. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called
Yeah,
Blackened.
Blackened, yeah. Blackened.
That's, that's how great that song is, that they want to, merchandise around it. Good pick.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Al, what's your number 14, buddy?
I'm going to the first album by them I ever heard. Story of that was I used to play Dungeons and Dragons with my brother and his friends, and one of his friends every week. One of his friends who was a metalhead, had long hair, real long hair and stuff. Man, he used to bring an album over to our house when we were playing. And one night, man, he just brought over this album. It was a blue cover with a freaking electric chair in the middle of it, and put it on, man. And I was like, "Fucking, who is this? What is this?" As a what was I, 13 maybe at the time, and then one of the songs were on there. I'm going to go with "For Whom the Bell Tolls." So when I heard that, man, I was like blown away, man. I mean, that whole album just blew my mind. But I'm going to put "For Whom the Bell Tolls" off that album. So that was the first time I ever heard them. It was in 1985, and he brought that album over. So my brother's friend's name was Pete. Thank you, Pete, if you're out there watching. Thanks for opening up my mind, bro. So go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, so I tried to pick at least one track off of every album. There were a couple of albums that I did skip, so I had to take some off, double up on a couple of them. But my number 14, I'm going to go with off of Hardwire, which is going to be "Moth into the Flame." I thought that was a great song. I think that Hardwire could have been a better album. They would have chopped it down a little bit more. If they would have chopped off about 20 minutes of it and made it more compact, it would have hit a lot harder and a lot heavier, because with it being so long, you start to forget about some of the good songs that were on there that get lost with it being so long. So I gotta go with Moth into the Flame for my number 14. Ignacio, what do you got?
Ride the Lightning, Creeping Death.
There you go.
Yeah.
Great song, man. I mean, they play that. That's like a staple in their set, man. They play that you hear that pretty well. Now like they're doing the no repeat weekend. So if you hear it one night, you're not going to hear it the next night.
Right.
So, which is a cool idea by them, actually. I mean, that's awesome for the hardcore fan. Like getting if you go both nights, you just get a completely different set list, man. That's cool.
I think that's so cool because they have so much that they can play.
Yeah.
And they're getting so many fans involved in this, and they're making fans get really excited for what they might listen to. Because for a while there, when it comes to bands that are that big, they can get a little stale on their playlists. So this is a really big treat for fans to hear them that way. Oh, what a cute pup!
Oh, that's my dog.
Awesome. Ray, what's your
What a beautiful creature. What an ugly animal. Oh, my God.
He's a 60-pound lap dog. He still thinks he's a puppy. Probably wants to set up on me all the time.
I'm going to go with Damage Incorporated.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That's your number 13, bro. That's good.
Yeah.
What a way.
It's brutal.
What a way to end an album.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And live, it's smashing, as you guys know.
Yeah.
And so it looks like you're going to have two great guys, Jerry and Mark, get info to get y'all's new CDs. So that's
okay.
Awesome. So I would help out with that too. Y'all need to hook up together so that they can get y'all's new CD. That's great. All right, where are we at?
Iggy.
We're just at Damage. Ricky,
Or
you
if
want?
Ricky wants to throw in a
Yeah, Ricky,
song
you want
again, I
a
don't know
song?
if you want.
I'll throw
Go.
another one. Another one I always dug with them was Bread Fan.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fucking killer song actually, and yeah, that's my pick.
That introduced me. That introduced me to Budgie, man, and I seeked out Budgie, and they're a pretty damn good band too, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Nobody knows them over here, man. But they have some great stuff, man. If you dig into their catalog,
Yeah, but I always thought
Oh,
that
yeah.
was a Metallica original. It sounds
Of
like
course.
a Metallica track.
That's
that was
what.
the smart.
That's
That was the smart thing about Metallica, man. They picked these very obscure songs and bands that nobody knew, and people would think, because I read stories that Lars that would say in the beginning, like, in their early days of like doing club shows, that they would throw in these real obscure covers. Nobody knew these bands. There was no internet, none of that. And people assumed that it was Metallica originals. So so they're very smart, man, picking stuff like that. So
Right.
yeah.
Iggy, go
It's
ahead.
the same thing that. Well, my number 13, I will say Wherever I May Roam. Wherever
What's
I May
that?
Roam. That's Wherever I May Roam.
Oh, okay.
That's one of my also favorites.
Yeah.
And
That's a really good track
yeah,
off that.
just like I was saying a few minutes earlier. I mean, they were smart back in the day. I mean, even though the Garage In the first one, that was all covers, and most of those covers were bands that people did not even know until they heard Metallica playing those albums or
Yeah.
those songs.
Yeah.
Am I Evil all of a sudden became a hit, and who was the writer?
Diamond Head. Yeah.
Yep.
Nobody knew who the hell Diamond Head was.
Right.
Unless you're really deep into like the new wave of British
Import.
Right.
And we're really into the underground stuff, man. Which Lars was. He was a big
Import. Yeah.
underground, So, well, my number 13. I'm gonna go to the And Justice for All album. It was the first video they ever did, and it really like blew them up. And it's the song One. Yeah, One. I remember when that video came out, man. It was just, everybody just like was like blown away by it, and it was so different. At the time when all the videos on MTV were like, not, and I like hair metal, I like a lot of that stuff, but everything was just all girls and glitzy and all that stuff. And here they come with like this black and white video from a movie that nobody ever heard of.
I was going to say,
your gun.
that video was amazing. It was cool how they put that video, the concept of it, to the song.
Exactly.
It was a great video.
And again, it was a breath of fresh air. It was like nobody was doing things like that, man. It was very intelligent and very, very cool, man. So that's gonna be my number 13.
That song actually gave them the first nomination in the Grammys.
I watched that live when they lost to Jethro Tull. I remember, and I still have the video. I recorded that off the TV on VHS, and I still have that videotape, man. When they lost to Jethro Tull, that was unbelievable.
That was like, what the fuck?
Right.
I remember that.
And I don't even like Jethro Tull for what they are to begin with. They're not a band that I really listen to. But my next pick on here is going to be off the Death Magnetic album. I love that Death Magnetic. I'm going to go with End of the Line, which was the second track off that album. And that's
Good
not
one.
the only track I've got on there either. I've got another track that's off the Death Magnetic. So that's what I'm going to have as my number 13. I think I got off track, so let's get back on track. Iggy, what's your number 12?
It's Electric from the Garage Inc. 2.
Oh. See, that's another Diamond Head song.
Right?
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Great one,
It's
man.
Electric.
And I'm also Lars had a podcast or like a talk show on Apple Music called It's Electric. And what they would do on there is that it was pretty cool because him and his co-host would talk about their favorite songs and play them. And the entrance of the song was Electric, was the theme song for the show.
Yeah.
And if y'all aren't familiar with it, man, it's really cool to hear Lars as being a fan of these bands, and he would do them like in alphabetical order. Like one episode would be like the letter B, and they'll concentrate on bands that start with that letter, which shows where I got a couple of my ideas. But that's all right. Lars ain't mad. All right, Ray. What's your number 12?
Struggle Within from the Black Album.
That's a great deep track
Oh,
from
yeah.
there. If you can call anything from the Black Album a deep track, that's one of them.
Yeah. It's a very strong song, I think.
Yeah, it's a great
Riff wise. It has riffs, you know what I mean? And James, of course, what a great lyricist. And he convicts the words, like great conviction, I should say. Sorry. You know, with how he speaks with his stories is just amazing.
Yeah, and the thing is, what's great about this last album, 72 Seasons, is that he went back to that kind of writing, just a dark despair kind of writing that kind of left him recently. So it's really good to hear that part of their sound. Ricky, you want to throw out a song for us?
Another one that I don't know if it was Green Hill or Green Hell.
Green Hill? That's a Misfits.
Yeah,
exactly.
That was a cool tune. I always dug that one too.
Well, that was they paired that up. They kind of they did like a Misfits. They did Last Caress, Green Hell. So they did Last Caress and chopped it, and then added on Green Hell. So they mashed up two Misfits songs into one kind of, Yeah, man, I remember that Garage Days, the Garage Days Revisited when I got the cassette when it came out, dude. I played the shit out of it. I mean, it only had 5 songs on it, but man, what great covers they did on there, man. So
that was one of my favorite ones. It was the Garage Days. I always thought that was just a cool. And I believe I still have the original LP that I actually got when I was a kid and have that. I believe I still have it. It's packed away.
That's worth some money now. That's worth money now.
Yeah, the original pressing, yeah.
That's why I kept it.
All right, man. Well, my number 12, I'm going with, and Ray named it before, was It's Damage Inc. off of Master of Puppets. I mean, again, what a great way to end an album. Just go out like blazing, with speed metal, pretty much, like harkening back to the Kill 'Em All kind of days, you know what I mean? Just going nuts, and I always loved that song. Again, I mean, I could have easily. It's so hard picking 15 songs from and kind of getting it, because I'm going to admit right now, man, I'm not going past the first 4 albums. So I can't do it, man. There's just too many good songs on those first 4. And I'm not dissing their later stuff. I like stuff off their last like 2 albums, 3 albums have been great, So, but I just, the cream of the crop for me, man, is the first 4. So, Damage Inc. number 12 for me. Go ahead.
Nice.
Yeah, my number 12. I'm going to go back to their debut album, Kill 'Em All, and I'm going to go with the 4 Horsemen. I love that. I love that hook on that song.
Good one.
It's it's
Dave Mustaine.
It's great.
Yeah.
But then it also has that. I don't want to call it a pop hook, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's a great song.
Yeah. So
you know what that is in the you know what that is. Well, you're talking about the slow middle of it, Andy?
Yeah.
Well, you know what that riff is, right?
No, I don't.
Sweet Home Alabama, dude.
Damn.
Yeah.
Sweet Home Alabama. Yeah. They kind of ripped it up.
Even talked about that, man. When he first wrote that song.
I never would have thought that.
Yeah, he purposely played that Sweet Home Alabama riff in the middle of it, and they loved it because and Cliff is such a huge Skynyrd fan, so he wanted that in there. So
maybe that's why it resonates with me so much, because I love Skynyrd.
Yeah,
I'm already in love with that.
Listen to the track and then listen to the other
Southern Rock rules, man.
Oh, Southern Rock is so great.
Yeah,
man.
I love it.
That song again with a different set of ears and thinking of Sweet Home Alabama, and catch it. Thank you. Number 11, Ignacio.
So what?
So what?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Another cover.
Another
Another
man.
cover, but a kick-ass cover.
Huh? Who did that originally?
What's it? Oh my god.
So what was by
Yeah,
it was by a UK hardcore or punk band. Oh, the
Yeah, it was-
Exploited. I think it's the Exploited.
Oh, wow,
No,
really?
no, it wasn't exploited.
It wasn't
Shit.
Exploited.
I'll have to Google it honestly. I can't
Okay,
remember,
Google it,
but
man.
yeah,
All right, we'll Google
Yeah.
it. We'll keep going. Ray,
I thought it was
what's your number
Exploited, but
11?
maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I guess I'm wrong. Go ahead, Ray.
Okay, so let's see here. I think it's number 11, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Judas Kiss, Death Magnetic.
Good one, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one, man.
Yeah. That's a hidden track right there.
Anti-Nowhere League.
Oh, Anti-Nowhere League. That's it.
Yeah, I was trying to remember the name. It was a long ass name though, so
Yeah.
excuse me about that, but yeah,
I thought they did an Exploited song too, but I think that Slayer did an Exploited song. So
probably so.
anyway, yeah.
We'll find out.
Anti-Nowhere League. There you go.
Okay.
Those lyrics, man.
Yeah.
That's a great pick there, Ray. That's off of that Death Magnetic album. Man, that's a good
Yes.
And
Yeah, I really like that album. I'm like you guys, I like the early stuff, but that's probably the latest album I like. And like Al said, the new stuff kicks ass too, but we only get 15 and they have so many kick ass ones in the first albums. But I think Death Magnetic offered some great stuff, and Judas Kiss was a great riffs as well.
Yeah.
I think the guitar on there is amazing.
yeah,
Rhythm wise, and lead, but rhythm mostly because it's just all over the place riffs.
Yeah.
yeah.
Can I see that? So I don't know if Ricky wants to throw on another song. If he,
I can throw in one more, and then I'm kind of zoinked after that one. I always like Unforgiven.
oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good one too.
Listen, that's a classic, man.
Yeah, even part 2 was pretty decent. It wasn't as good as the first one, but I thought
Right.
both the series of those were pretty good.
Cool.
Not bad.
Yeah, that was a great song. That's one of the first songs that I really dug by them too, because I got into during And Justice for All. I was 12 at that time, so when they came out with a Black album and the videos and all that, I was all on board. Your turn, Al. What's number 11 for you?
Number 11, I'm going to the ending of Ride the Lightning. I'm going with the instrumental, The Call of Cthulhu.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Now, co-written by Dave Mustaine as well. Some of Dave Mustaine's songs made it onto the second album, Ride the Lightning. That's how good they were. And that was one of them. And that instrumental kicks all sorts of major ass. And I will say that I saw Metallica in Atlantic City when they tried to do that Orion Festival. I caught them on a night where they did Ride the Lightning, the entire album. They played the entire album.
Oh, wow.
But they went backwards. So they started with Call of Cthulhu and went backwards on the album. So that was the opening song. And that's the only time that they ever played the song Escape. It was because James hates that song, but they had to play it because they were playing the whole album.
Right.
That's the one and only time they've ever played that song ever. And I got to witness it. I'm glad I did because I love Ride the Lightning is my favorite Metallica album. So from top to bottom, that's my favorite. If I had to pick one album, that's my number one. So Call of Cthulhu is gonna be my number 11. So go ahead, Andy.
Cool. I'm going my number 11. It's going to be another instrumental, and Mr. Ricky talked on it already. I'm going to go with Orion off of Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
Too, man. That was such a strong instrumental, and it's great to hear instrumentals done by great musicians and how they respect each other to give each other room to do this kind of music and to showcase themselves. Yeah. All right, so we're going into our top 10, guys. All right, Ignacio, what's your number 10, man?
From the 72 seasons, I don't recall exactly the title right now. I don't have the album with me, but I think it's The King of the Crown or something like that. You have the album with you?
I do. I got it right here. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go get mine. But it's something on the chorus that says it's
I think I know.
Trying to remember the lyric. mention something about the crown. That song is also pretty good because I like the riff on it.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. It's towards the middle of the
With the
album.
crown came nothing.
No, that's King Nothing. That's another one that is.
Oh,
cool,
okay,
but-
my bad.
Damn it, Ray, that was my next pick one. Thanks, man.
Oh, oh, you're talking about Crown or the Barbed Wire?
Oh, okay.
That's the one. Crown of the Barbed Wire. Yeah, that's the song.
Cool.
Yeah, that's
Trying
a
to
good
remember
song.
the whole name.
All right,
All right, Ray, go ahead, man.
Ray.
I believe I have Battery from Master of Puppets.
It wasn't King.
Battery.
Killer song, man.
Yeah, Battery. That starts off one of the greatest albums ever made. Master of
Mhm.
Puppets. That's a great one to start off with. That might pop up later on. Ricky,
So I
you wanna-
think you stole Ricky's thunder. You said King Nothing.
Nothing. That was mine.
It's okay.
I will say I do like that song a lot off of Load. That's
It
one
is.
of my favorite songs from that album.
Yeah,
I'll
that
throw
was
in, I'll throw in another one from Load, but it's not on my list. But that I love from that album. But it's not my top 15. If I had a top 20, it'd probably be in there. Bleeding Me. I love Bleeding Me. I love the way James sings that. I just love the moodiness of that song. I think that's a great track. But my number 10, and I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to mash the two together. I'm going to put Anesthesia Pulling Teeth into Whiplash. So I'm going to put both of them
Oh, nice.
because they just blend in together. They just go right into each other. So Anesthesia.
You're just playing the album right there.
There you go. From Kill 'Em All, Anesthesia, Cliff Burton, Come On Genius. You know what I mean? And into Whiplash. I mean, that's a staple in their live set as well. And I remember when Jason was in the band, he used to sing that song. Jason Newsted. You know, he used to come out and sing Whiplash and stuff like that. So, which was cool. It gave him kind of a highlight in the show. You know, so that's my number 10. Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth into Whiplash.
nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, great song. My number 10 has already been mentioned by Ignacio, but my number 10 is off the Black Album, Wherever I May Roam. I love that song. I like the video. It was like the concert setting of the video. And if y'all remember, that's when they had that huge tour with Guns N' Roses and either I think Soundgarden and someone else was opening up.
Faith No More opened when I saw
Faith
that.
No More.
Yeah, Faith No More.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it was Faith No More and Soundgarden on some dates as well. So I'm going to go with Wherever I May Roam. That's my favorite album. No, that's my favorite track off that album. So
Good, cool.
Wherever I May Roam. Number 9, Ignacio.
Don't threaten me.
Ooh,
Another good one. Another great one, man, from that
Yeah.
album.
off the Black Album. I didn't think that much stuff was going to be touched upon on the Black Album, but it seems like lately, the past couple of years, a lot of people have lightened up on that album.
For me personally,
Yeah.
the Black Album was as a musician, seeing the work that was put on that album, and how Bob pushed them as musicians to do more.
Mhm.
It's an achievement. And
Yeah.
I know that there's a lot of people that they go like, "Oh, I hate the Black Album. They sold out." Well, yes, because you're used to listen to Metallica as a trash band, and all of a sudden you're hearing a different Metallica, more musical, more melody on their playing, even the vocals, a totally different approach to what you are used to see Metallica.
Yeah.
And I honestly love that album since it came out.
Showed their musical side of them pretty much is what I think the Black Album did for them is
Yeah.
show they could be true musicians and not just a bunch of thrashers,
Yeah.
And again,
Just to add to that, man. Had Cliff lived, man, I mean, he would have been all about change as well. I mean, Cliff was very diverse. I mean, everybody's always like, Metallica died when Cliff died. Well, they looked up to him. Honestly, he was the one guy in the band that was he had musical knowledge. He had, the other guys, they were learning as they went and stuff. Cliff actually knew like classical music and things like that. And he incorporated, I mean, he's a huge fan of Thin Lizzy, So he incorporated harmony guitars into Metallica to do like harmony leads and lead lines and all that stuff. Ignacio knows what I'm talking about. You know, when the harmony guitars and all that. He got that from Thin Lizzy. I mean, he brought a lot of elements into Metallica. And there's even an interview. You can look at when him and James are in a bus, and there's an interview with the two of them. Cliff says, a lot of people said that we sold out like when we made our second album, when we did Fade to Black, we slowed down. Everything was in a million miles an hour. People were already calling them sellouts by that time, because everybody that came in from the beginning with Kill 'Em All, which was just Kill 'Em All was just a balls to the wall, 100 miles an hour, let's go. And then, Ride the Lightning. Ride the Lightning, they already started incorporating more melody into their songs. Look, Fade to Black's, it's a ballad, basically, a thrash ballad. Nobody was doing that shit.
The first example of them being musically into what they were doing,
Yeah, there you go, man. So the Black Album, I think Cliff would have.
All right.
I think Cliff would have kind of embraced that, going into different directions like that. Maybe it might have sounded a little different, but maybe not, because Cliff and the Load albums. I mean, Cliff was a huge Southern rock fan, and the Load kind of has that influence in there, that Southern kind of influence. So I think he would have maybe even went in that direction. Who knows, man? I mean, how'd he live? He might have not cut his hair, but that's a whole different story. But I was just interjecting on that. I'm sorry. So
no problem. Ray, number 9.
No Remorse.
Yes, that's a great one, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
No remorse.
Yep.
No regrets.
We don't care what he meant.
That's a great one, man. Ricky, you want to come in on something?
I think we're all forgetting one of their biggest and most popular songs, in my opinion, is Inner Sandman. I mean,
Of course.
that was a great song.
No, just kidding. I'm only kidding.
Listen, another thing about the Black Album. Another thing about the Black Album is really, it took metal to just another level, man. I mean, it just people that normally wouldn't listen to metal, all of a sudden, the Black Album embraced them and maybe got them into more metal. I mean, it was a gateway album for a lot of people, much like in the early 80s for me, something like Quiet Riot Metal Health or Def Leppard's Pyromania was kind of my gateway into heavy metal, dude. I mean, those were the gateway albums, so I think for the 90s, the Black Album might have been a gateway for a kid that might have not been particularly into heavy metal. All of a sudden, Enter Sandman, very catchy and all that shit, and they get into it. So
they knew how to hook the people back in, is what I think that was more or less about. Kind of brought them into a whole different musical thing. Brought them out more commercially, and I mean, the hook of that song was just, it drew people in, even if you didn't like heavy metal. I mean, I remember going to school and watching other races and stuff, blasting the song and playing it, and they just, man, this is a really cool song, and so it to me that song was pretty much a big turning point for their future, so that's my pick.
Yeah, I was just kidding. It's like they're living after midnight. You know what I'm saying? Every band's got to have the anthem tune. We have Soldiers on our new record. So, I mean, I've already had people say they love it. And then I had people say, oh, that's, too generic, because it's an anthem song. But rock anthems have their place, and they definitely, sing, praise of what you want to do, and you need to have those. I was just kidding.
Yeah, no, I know, man. You can bring me a 6-pack at practice. How's that?
You can make it up to me that way, right? Oh, what's your number 9?
My number 9, I'm going with the opener of Master Puppets, and that's Battery. I mean, Ray already touched on that one, I believe. You got that acoustic opener, and then all of a sudden that classical kind of opening, and all of a sudden, boom, just like a sledgehammer to your head, man.
Yeah.
And what a great way to open it. But, I mean, again, Master of Puppets, another flawless album, man. Just, But
top to bottom.
Top to bottom, man. Just killer. So that's my number 9. So go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, I'm going to take this one off of Death Magnetic, The Day That Never Comes. Another epic track that just hits you on the head and then slows down, and then his lyrics come back up, and then the music comes back heavier. It kind of follows that Master of Puppets, a sound. So I'm going to go with The Day That Never Comes as my number 9. Ignacio, go for it. Number 8.
From one of the albums that we love to hate, Until It Sleeps.
Oh, yeah. That's
Nothing wrong with that, man.
That's a good one.
Remember that
Yeah.
video being
That's
pretty
actually-
dark, actually.
That's one of my favorite tracks from that album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the haunting. I was thinking of something else, but yeah, that was the one when the video came out. They started to have a short hair, and
Yeah.
it
Right.
threw
And they were
everybody's
all with makeup and shit.
yeah, with the eyeliner. You're like, wait a minute, but the nail polish. You're like, what's
Almost kind of like a little bit of a gothic look.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I'm sorry, it was black nail polish. It wasn't glitter or
yeah.
anything like that. It was black, so that was okay. Yeah, but Into the Sleeps.
Until it sleeps. Yeah.
It's just like what you were talking about earlier. It had a different sound where their musicianship and their change was front and center. Good song.
Yeah. As a band and as musicians,
Yeah.
one thing, for example, ourselves, yeah, we love hard rock and metal and we play that, but we always try to be stuck in the same genre on what
Right.
we're doing. I mean, we try to vary and give a different approach to our songs.
Right.
No song is the same as the other that you heard previously.
Right. And that's
And
great.
that's-
Having variety on an album is fantastic. It really is. I mean, that's what makes a great album is the variety. Ray, what's your number 8?
Ride the Lightning.
The title track.
Yes, the title track. I love that record too. I think if this was best albums, Ride the Lightning would be my top Metallica record because that's where I was introduced. I mean, Kill 'Em All was out, and I kind of heard it through my friends. I was born in '69, so I was around when it first came out, but I wasn't fully on board until Ride the Lightning, and then there was no doubt.
Yeah.
Now, would you say that because Ride the Lightning had a little bit more of a melody to it than Kill 'Em All?
Well, that and the production was better. Import albums were great, but some of them weren't recorded that well, And I liked Kill 'Em All, but we were all, like you said, they were innovators of thrash. So I was on board, but I wasn't totally sure yet because I was into bands, like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. So I was like, okay, this is killer, but I want a little more vocal melodies and stuff like that. It was borderline punkish kind of, but a little heavier. And I really like punk too, but that's a whole different flavor than what I was rocking with at the time. But once Ride the Lightning came out, there was no doubt that they were just the masters of their craft. And there was no doubt that this genre was alive and well and going to just dominate. And it did.
Awesome. Good one. Ricky, you got a song to share with us?
Not another song, but I agree with Ray on that. I think that's one of my favorite albums is Ride the Lightning. I couldn't sit here and name a song on it particularly, but the title track was killer. And I agree with Ray on what he said about that being innovative for them and the melodies and just the groove of it. And it was recorded way better than Kill 'Em All. It had a little bit more spunk to it than, Kill 'Em All, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true though. Al, what's your number 8?
I'm going to that same album, but with the opener, Fight Fire with Fire.
Yes.
Again, man, you heard
The
it.
ending is near.
You hear that kind of beautiful kind of beginning of it, clean guitar
And then
all that. And then when you
it
just
slaps you in the face.
yeah, just when you think like, it's gonna be a beautiful song, boom, sledgehammer over your head, with a fast ass thrash, and like you said, man, production value went up tenfold on that album, man. Kill 'Em All is great for what it is. It's raw. It was a band.
Yeah.
It's a young, hungry band.
Yeah.
Basically, just them going into a recording studio and recording live off the floor, basically.
Right.
Whereas
Right.
Ride the Lightning was a bit more, had a more production value to it, but it's not to take away from the energy of the album. Like the album was just energy in spades, man. But it sounded great.
Yeah.
It played out of a great stereo, man. It kills, man. So,
You-
so the opening
you know-
Fight Fire Fire is gonna be my number 8.
Nice.
You can always a band how they progress just by listening to their albums, especially if they've been around for 20, 25, 30 years. You can see the progression in them.
Yeah.
How they be more and more and more per each album, musical.
Sorry, guys.
You can see and feel the success of the band, just by their first couple albums,
Exactly,
seeing how
man. But but from Kill 'Em All to Ride the Lightning was such a quantum leap between their first and second album. Just amazing, how much they progressed in that one short period, man. It's just, they were traveling at the speed of light. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
you can see how much the band matured from one album into the other.
Yeah,
and it's like, whoa, wow, what the
and
hell?
I think a lot of that maturity had to do with Cliff Burton, man, because really on the first album, on Kill 'Em All, he came in kind of when those songs were already sort of written. He did put his stamp on a lot of them, but when the writing process happened with Ride the Lightning, he was fully immersed into that writing process, and he
was more involved into the process.
Exactly, man. So, yeah, so that's my number 8. Fight Fire Fire off of Ride the Lightning. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, and just to touch on a little bit more what Mr. Ricky was just saying, what's pretty cool is that when you find a band and you listen to their discography, you kind of see how they grow as musicians and as people according to what lyrics they're writing and how they improve musically. And us as fans, we go along for the ride to follow them from the ups and downs of every band we follow, which is great. That's why we love this kind of music. My next one, my number 8 is going to come off of the EP Beyond Magnetic, which came out a little bit after Death Magnetic. Just a Bullet Away is what I'm going to go with. It's a great track, great James Hetfield lyrics on there, and the music. Man, there's the great the great solo by thank you so much, where the guitar just starts to go down and down and down like you're falling down this hole, down and down and down. And it talks about addiction that Hetfield was going through, and it's called A Bullet Away, and it's a really good track. If y'all aren't that familiar with it, I'll send it to y'all. It's a killer Metallica track.
Yeah,
Nice.
I have that Beyond Magnetic EP, man. It's cool, man. Some good stuff on there.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool song. It's a pretty cool EP that they released without that much fanfare, but it was fantastic. Number lucky 7. Ignacio, what do you got?
Hit the Lights.
Yeah, it started it all, man.
Yeah,
cool track.
Yeah, it is.
I like the fusion of that song when it changes from fast to slow and back to fast. That transition there, I like that. That's one of the things that I like about that song.
Yeah, I like that one too. Ray, what do you got at number 7?
Shortest Straw.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My son Justin, we thought he may come on here tonight, but he's the other guitar player on the other side of Iggy, and he did a cover with his brothers, my sons Nathan and Austin. They all did a cover one time, and when I was in Trip Lever, we played at their Uncle Mario's house, and that was one of the songs they played with our drummer Wes, and they killed it. And I've really been a fan of the song always, but when they did it, it kind of holds a you know, a little bit of heart. And Justin, that's one of his favorites too. Like Iggy, Metallica is one of his favorite bands, and same with Justin. Justin's a huge Slash fan from Guns N' Roses, and huge Kirk Hammett fan. So shortest straw in honor of Justin Kuhn.
Yeah, man, those riffs. Oh man, those riffs so short and strong. Dun, dun, dun. So awesome the way they did that. All right, Ricky, you want to add one?
I don't know if I what the name of the song is actually. I don't know if I got it right, but it was the one where they'd say "On the Road Again."
On the road
Bob
again.
Seger. Bob Seger
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always dug that one too. That was a cool.
Yeah, that's turn the page.
Turn
the page. Yeah. On the Road Again, I think, is a country song.
That's
On the road again.
Nelson.
Break that out.
Just can't wait to get on the road again.
Like a band
My dad was always a big. My dad was always a big Willie Nelson fan. Maybe that's how I got that confused.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, give a shout out to Willie. Why not?
I can see Hetfield. I can see Hetfield being into that though.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So yeah, my pick is Turn the Page. I always dug that remake.
All right,
Yeah, turn the page.
That was a great cover by them too. Hetfield's voice, man, fits it.
Yeah. The way that the way he turned down his voice to fit the Bob Seger mood. Really good.
Yeah. You could feel it, and that's a good cover when you actually feel it. You know, like the singer that did it before, and with a different feel even. I was impressed with that.
Yeah.
And
different storytelling too. I would
yes.
Think,
Yeah.
Now, what's your number 7?
Number 7, going back to the beginning, the Four Horsemen from Kill 'Em All. Again, I talked about like that little melodic part is actually Sweet Home Alabama riff. So if you really go back and listen to it, man, they slipped it in there, which was a Mustaine thing. And it used to be the song was originally called Mechanics, which then Dave Mustaine took with him to Megadeth and recorded that, which their version is much faster. And but I do like the Metallica version better. I like it a little more slowed down, a little slow, because I think Megadeth just want to try. I think they sped it up. They want to try to outspeed Metallica, but I think the song loses a little bit of groove by speeding it up too much the way they did it. So I do prefer the Metallica version, but I love Four Horsemen. Great tune, man. You know, I always jam that one when I jammed Kill 'Em All as a kid. So that's my number 7.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, my number 7. The rest of them are going to be just off a couple of albums, or maybe 3 albums. And I'm going to start off with the title track to "And Justice for All" as my number 7. I remember when I first heard this album, you know, this was my gateway album into Metallica, was "And Justice for All." Came out in 88, I believe. I was 14.
Yeah.
And we were, my friends and I, we used to, like kind of camp in each other's backyards with sleeping bags and tents and a boombox. And my friend Randy Smart, he had just bought this, so we heard "And Justice for All" over and over, and we would always get the lyrics wrong, and we would just laugh and laugh and laugh. So that just has a special place. "And Justice for All," the title track, as my number 7. Number 6, Iggy.
For me, that will be. It's another cover from them, but it's a fun song. "Whiskey in New York."
Oh yeah, Thin Lizzy, Irish band.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah. In fact, that's the first time I heard it was by Metallica, and then when I heard it again, you know, by the original by Thin Lizzy, it's okay, but I do prefer Metallica's version better than the I guess the singy songy kind of way that Thin Lizzy did it in one of their first albums. In fact, it might have even been their first album, but Metallica really did do a great job on that. Number 6.
They did.
Yeah, they did. That's a good song. Number 6, Ray.
My number 6 is "Metal Militia" from Kill 'Em All.
Oh wow. Nice.
Yeah, that's
That's just a balls to the wall tune. So I mean, it was a no brainer. That's my favorite song on Kill 'Em All right there.
Good one, dude.
Yeah, that was.
Nice.
Hey, Rick, do you want to share something with us?
I'm a little stumped right now, man. Move
All right.
on.
All right.
Cool. Al,
All right, my number 6, I'm going to go with the opener of And Just For All, and that's Blackened. Again, I love the way it swells in with the backwards guitars, and then all of a sudden, just another sledgehammer to the head, man. You know, what a great riff, and I particularly think Lars's drumming is like phenomenal on that song, dude. I mean, listen to the drum patterns on there, man. It's not that easy to do, actually. So he's really kicking ass on that song, man. So I got to give it up to Lars. You know, on that album particularly, and Justice. That was like their progressive metal album almost. They were progressive on there with long songs and lots of time changes and riff changes, and you know, I mean, they were like, it was almost like you know, it was almost like kind of they were Rush on like steroids and shit. You know what I mean? So
and the storytelling on that album.
Yeah, and the lyrics, man, pretty dark. You know, a lot of dark material on there. So.
And I'm glad you give Lars props, because a lot of people give him flack. But what's funny is a lot of people talk shit about his drum playing, but when they play a Metallica song, they can't play it like he does. You know,
he's got listen, man. When he plays, he's got an identifiable style, man. It's like you know it's him. I almost kind of, you know, he might not be the tightest drummer in the world or whatever, man. I almost kind of like compare him. I call him like kind of the Keith Richards of like Metallica, like kind of sloppy, but he adds that element. Because if you throw another drummer into Metallica, their sound is going to change, dude. It's not going to.
It don't work.
It doesn't work, man. You know, so. And I mean, he's come up with some great. And I mean, the double bass pattern in one. I mean, that's like such an identifiable.
Oh yeah,
pattern, you know, like
blast beats, like that, like you know.
Yeah, before there was really kind of was that stuff, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I know you got to give him. I mean, maybe later on he got a little lazy with his playing, but he seems to come back now, like being really like energetic again and stuff like that in his last few albums. So
yeah, I'm impressed with the new stuff, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, me too. I think their new album was really good, and I think when people say that they really don't like it, I think they already had that preconception before it came out that they weren't going to like it no matter what.
Yeah. Metallica, listen, man, Metallica is a very polarizing band. You know, they're just, as soon as they're going to come out with something, people already have their preconceived notions. Well, it's not the first 3 albums. It's not the first 4 albums. Forget it. It's going to suck. You know, so.
Yeah. And I'm like, how many times can you write the same album? Come on. You got to give them the creative edge, because they're artists. They're not going to paint the same picture over and over again.
Right.
It's art, man. Let them work. You know what I'm saying? But people just want to, like you said, they already make up their minds. Nope, it's not Master of Puppets. I hate it. You know, and it's stupid. I mean, I didn't get Load or Reload that much either, but I didn't hate on them because they still wrote the albums that we loved, and you can't take that away from them. No matter what you say about them, they still wrote what they did. They kicked doors wide open for all of us metal bands, and you can't deny that, because that's a fact, and they are the very top heavy metal band in the world, and no one can deny that or compete with it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if they would have
I remember in all the interview that they did to Metallica, and I remember Lars saying, people were criticizing us and telling us that we sold out. And yeah, we sold out. We sold out stadiums.
Every seat in the house.
That was his words. Those were his words back then.
Yeah.
And he was right.
And it's true. It's true.
Yeah. And if they would have stuck to their sound, people would have complained, oh, well, they sound the same like they always did. They never improved. They never changed. So either way, they're going to get shit anyway. But my number 6 is going to be off my favorite album by Metallica, Master of Puppets. I've got several songs to talk about as we get closer to number 1, but I'm going to start off number 6 with Sanitarium, Welcome Home.
Yeah.
You know, another great song that tells a story. It's scary. It's true. It's real. It happens. So, Sanitarium. is my number 6. We're going into the top 5, gentlemen. Number 5, Ignacio, go for it.
Memory Remains. I don't know if we mentioned it earlier, but
Nah,
No,
nobody mentioned that one, man.
yeah, that's the one with Marianne Faithfull. Is that right?
Yes.
With that haunting backing vocal.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
where the memory remains.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, great track. Haunting too, even though it was a single.
Nah, nah.
Yeah. That haunting voice by her, and that's because she had been out
Yeah.
of the limelight for a while.
Da, 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 da.
Na, na, na.
Yeah, that's it. All right, number 5, Ray.
The Unforgiven.
Oh yeah,
1, 2, or 3?
yeah,
The first one.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can have three. Right? Pick the first two. Okay?
They've been forgiven for the next two. No, just kidding.
Right.
Part 2 was okay. It was the 3 that I was like, okay, guys.
You're doing it.
it's kind of like Jaws 3. Okay, that's enough for the shark. That's enough. Of that. All right, Ricky, is there something you want to add, man?
I'm stumped. You guys got me all stumped on the
He's just along. He's just along for the ride now, man. It's cool.
I feel like I'm going down memory lane right now. Man.
Oh, good.
Sweet.
All right, Al, number 5.
Number 5, the shining moment, the magnum opus of Cliff Burton, and that's Orion, man.
Oh,
I gotta. It's one of the greatest like instrumental tracks. I love that track. He shines through. You know, it was funny, man. Like when as a younger kid, hearing that, and as I was just starting to kind of get into playing guitar, and I started playing in 1986, so that's when I started learning guitar, and
Nice.
listening to that album and listening to Orion, and it's not until like later on where I realized like some of the stuff that I thought was guitar was fucking bass, dude. It was Cliff, just overdubbing his bass, playing through distortion, and playing chords and things like that. And I was like, wow, dude. I mean, this guy is just like amazing. Like, and hearing that song and as it fades out and everything, it does go into Damage Inc. But as it fades out, it just kind of brings a tear to my eye, just knowing that he's gone, and like, what more he could have done. Because there's only 3 albums that showcase him, and that's it. There's not a lot of material with Cliff, man. And I almost kind of parallel his career with like Randy Rhoads, both just being killed at such a young age, as their potential wasn't even reached yet, and I kind of parallel those 2 guys, Randy and Cliff, man, and each of them furthered the instrument so much, and people are so influenced by them with their limited material. It's like, it's amazing like how legendary they are. Sometimes death does make you a legend too, before you're
Right.
You're ready and stuff. But I mean, they died so young, and you just don't know what they could have went on to do, man. But listen, what they left behind is legendary, and Orion is just to me like the magnum. Like if I was gonna give somebody one thing, here's Cliff Burton, here's Orion, here's the song. Listen to that. So that's my number 5.
I agree, 100%.
My number 5, I'm going to go with the way that Master of Puppets starts off. A couple of you guys have already mentioned it, Battery.
Yeah.
It starts off with this beautiful acoustic, and then boom, here's this great album, and this is the way we're going to start it off with. And here you go. So Battery as my number 5.
It's amazing to think. It's amazing to think that that album was written when they were like, almost in their mid-20s. I mean, they were in their 20s, man.
Yeah.
It's just fucking. It just blows my mind, man. How creative,
they already
creative
were.
they were.
And that's why they have such a long-lasting career, because of how creative they are and how much they keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and they don't get comfortable.
Yeah.
So, either of you like the Saint Anger album or the Lulu or the Reload, you got to admit they kept on pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
It might not be all your cup of tea, but you got to give
Right.
them credit for trying different things, man.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Instead of just saying, "Hey, well, this sells. Let's do it again."
Yeah.
No, they kept on pushing the envelope. All right, Ignacio, number 3, friend.
Number 4, actually.
Four.
Oh, four,
Yeah.
4. Sorry, I can't
Uh,
count backwards.
Trying to remember the precise name, but I think it's called "It Ain't My Bitch."
Oh,
Yeah, Ain't My Bitch.
Ain't my bitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
my bad.
From the Load album.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
opens
Yeah.
up. That's what opens
You got to
up
add the
that.
cha on the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good track too. And that was
Eating my bitch.
I have a question for Ignacio. How old are you, bro?
I'm gonna be 50 in a couple months.
Okay, so me and you are the same age. I'm 51, so okay. I'm just kind of trying to figure out when you came into Metallica. Like, I don't know if you talked about it.
Metallica for me when I was a teenager, probably between 13, 14 years old.
Okay, so around like Master of Puppets then and that era.
I think actually Master of Puppets was it Right Line or Master of Puppets the first album that I heard from them.
Okay,
I mean, it wasn't that era though. So
okay, all right, cool.
But now I'm gonna be 25 in each butt cheek.
That's a good way of thinking about it.
Right.
I don't want to see it, but you know, it's
you don't need to see it. You just gotta believe it.
All right. Ray, what's your number 4, buddy?
Yeah, right.
He's still
Me or Iggy?
No, Iggy just went. He ain't my bitch.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna do "Welcome Home" Sanitarium.
Yeah, great one, man. I think Andy picked that one as well.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah, it ends side 1 perfectly. It really does. Man, what a perfect side 1 that was. And then you flip it, and they still fuck you up. It's great.
A left and a right.
Yeah. Anything, Mr. Ricky? Or you're just enjoying the show?
I'm enjoying it, but I'd like to throw two things real fast. Just kind of listening to what he said about Cliff Burton and stuff with the Ryan and stuff.
Go for
he
it.
played that a lower key too. I mean, it was he played it on that top string and he just dropped it a little bit. As far as it being this deep and heavy, bass players don't really get a lot of attention in the songs. Of course, it's more melody and just background. But in my opinion, Cliff Burton was probably one of the greatest bass players out there. I mean, he knew how to be in certain points of a song where it grabbed your attention. You knew it was him playing, and the same thing with what we were talking about with the drums, with Lars. He may not have been the progressive drummer that everybody thought, like anybody else or something, but he knew exactly where to do his drums and the songs to make the music what it was. And that's what about Metallica. They knew exactly where, when, and how to do it. And to me, that's almost perfection. So I thought I'd just throw that in there. My little
it's awesome.
Yeah,
that's great. Thank you, Ricky.
Oh well, because it's a band. It's not the Lars Ulrich band. It's Metallica, and each member fits in where and feed the song the way it should be fed.
Exactly. Almost like a lot of them out there and stuff. You got Pantera, but you got bands like Van Halen, and they just knew where and when to hit these things in the moments that when you put on a Pantera song, you can't deny it. Dimebag was an amazing guitarist, but you can also hear those riffs. He's going to town too in the background there, and then you hear the drums going, and then Phil's voice just coming out. I mean, you know when they're coming in and when they're not there. It's amazing. Music is an amazing thing, anyways. Period. Straight out. It's just out of music.
Awesome.
That's why we listen to it, and when we're not listening to it, we're talking about it.
And that's why you guys create it, man, for the love,
Yeah.
You guys are,
absolutely.
You guys are a band. You guys love what you do, and you create music, man.
From the ground up.
I mean, music, no matter from which angle you're looking at it, it's a fucking therapy.
Yeah,
that's it. You play it,
and you just hope people like it, Yeah, and that's the one thing is, You want people to enjoy what you wrote. That's the gratification of it. I think it's not money. It's when people appreciate your art.
And connect with it. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
All right.
It's
Well,
like
my number
I was
4.
listening to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. You go ahead.
It's just like I was. Okay, so it's just like I was listening to Nuno a couple days ago in an interview that he had, and he was talking about that same exchange with his fans. I mean, when either you write or you listen or go to see a live band, that you connect to that audience, it's that exchange of energy that you get from that crowd, and that's what music is all about. It's connecting. That's that exchange.
Yeah.
I agree.
And no matter if you play music or you listen to it or you just be part of it,
Or
it's
if you're a
that
DJ,
community.
or a podcaster like yourselves, it all ties in together, and it's a network of people that make it happen. And without any one of those elements, we have nothing.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh wow.
Cool, man.
Well said.
I mean,
All right, man. So
one recent example that we can talk about is the show that we had a couple weeks back in Tucson. I mean, the exchange of the crowd, and Ray can tell you about that. I mean, I
It
don't.
was different.
I mean,
A different
it
feeling.
was, yeah, the energy was like intense in that show.
Yeah, the metal fans in Tucson are a different breed. They're really, really into it. I'm not saying they're not in Phoenix, but it's more of a mixed type of crowd here and there in Phoenix. But in Tucson, metalheads they all stick around. It's like the old days. You know what I mean? When you go to the club and everybody watches every band and they love it and they support and you feel that energy. I think that's what he's trying to say. In some of these clubs here, it's a click thing, and if they're not into your band, they stand outside, and it kind of sucks.
Oh wow. Okay. Instead of
Yeah.
going in there to go check out new stuff or something that they might like, but they just don't want to go to try. That's not cool.
I remember going to a lot of club shows, man, and going in early and check. I got into a lot of bands because I've seen bands open for bands. So I mean, I was always the type that I always want to get in there and see the opening bands or a couple of bands that are on the bill. Because you never know, man. Like, sometimes they don't connect and sometimes they do. I ended up really enjoying a lot of the artists that way. So, you know,
I
Yeah,
saw.
and Arizona, I mean, in general, is a metal city. Even Phoenix. I'm just saying, people get into their little cliques and their crowds,
Yeah.
and I don't think it matters if the band is good or not. They just, oh, okay, they're not my homies, so I'm gonna go step outside and have a cigarette while their set's on or whatever. Or they leave early because I understand if you got a job and stuff. I'm not saying, oh, stay all night no matter what. People have responsibilities. I get that, but I mean, just overall in general. It used to be back in the day, people stuck it out through the whole entire night because you planned the night out. You know what I'm saying? And everybody enjoyed everybody's band. If you were their fan or not, you became a fan or you just had respect, for the music in
Used to be
general.
it used to be frowned on a long time ago, but I got to agree with Ray on that. I mean, 10, 15 years ago, it was almost frowned on if you did not stick around and watch all the bands. And it wasn't from the bands themselves, it was from the fans. But it's done kind of like a flip around now. And Ray's right. It's kind of clicky nowadays. And it's a little tough. You would think being in Phoenix, it would be a lot bigger, and a lot more and stuff. But it's kind of a mixed thing here. It's a hit and miss half the time. You don't know if you're going to get a big crowd or a little crowd or an energized crowd or a dead crowd or. So it's a gamble. It's a gamble here a lot of the time. Um, it's pretty crazy, real crazy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. That seems to be the same thing here in Houston. It all depends on which club you go to around here. To
Yeah.
to see if there's a big vibe or little vibe or because there's like for instance, we just went to a show not too long ago downtown, but they closed that bar and they moved it to a different location where it's really blowing up now. I mean, they're selling out shows, but it was just the change in location, not actually the change in the band or the type of music they're playing. So
Right, right.
that helps too. Where are we at? We're at number 4.
Yeah, number 4. I'm gonna. It's me. I'm gonna go with the title track to "Ride the Lightning." The song "Ride the Lightning."
Yeah.
One of my favorite tracks. One of my favorite Kirk Hammett solos too. I mean, I love his solo on this song, man, and I just love just the whole. Even when he's soloing, I love the rhythm that James is laying down underneath his solo. One of my favorite moments in like a Metallica song. You go back and listen to it. I mean, if you can't hear it in your mind right now, you'll pick up on it if you go back and listen to the song. But I love that song. It brings back a lot of memories of like listening to that album and loving that album. So the title track, "Ride the Lightning," number 4.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, good song. My number 4, "Back to the Front." I'm going to go with "Impossible Heroes."
Yes, another great
My
one.
number 4. How
That's a real good one. I tossed around that one too.
that starts off side 2, and man, such another epic track from this band. So
Staple.
"Impossible Heroes" is my number 4. Oh, so great.
Oldie but goodie, Blitzkrieg.
Ooh,
Oh, nice, man.
yeah.
By the band Blitzkrieg.
That's another song I thought was them. Until later on, I was like, I didn't know it was a cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because that came out about the same time when Bread Fan came out, right? Did they?
No,
Right.
before that.
No,
Before
before.
Yeah, it was on the first. They had a little EP of well, it's actually just a single, really.
Was
I
it?
think
Was
Jump in the
Creeping
Fire.
Death?
I think
Oh, Jump in the Fire was it? Yeah.
it was a Jump in the
They
Fire
had the
single. But
dragon or the
on the
demon.
flip side was
yeah.
the Blitzkrieg and the Diamond Head song, "Am I Evil?" So
Am
that
I
was
Evil? Mhm.
so yeah, that was the original Garage Days Revisited. They even named it that on the other side of the single, Garage Days Revisited. So with the little EP with the 5 songs is Garage Days Revisited. That's the actual name of the 5-song EP that came out a little later. But yeah, that was around the time that was a Jump in the Fire single. So yeah, but that's by the band Blitzkrieg themselves. So
Right.
yeah.
Oh, awesome. All right, Ray, you're number 3, man.
All right, my number 3 is, drum roll, please. For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Yeah. No drum roll, please. A bell toll. Bell.
Yeah, yeah. One of the best intros ever. You know.
Oh, yeah, dude. You got that. You got what? What you got the song Black Sabbath with the church bell.
Oh yeah.
In
Hell's Bells.
Hell's Bells, AC/DC. Yeah, you got your couple bell songs there. That's a great.
Gotta have one.
For those about to rock, AC/DC, how could you deny those fucking cannon blasts?
The cannons.
Holy shit. I mean, wow. When I remember as a kid, my cousin was blaring that out of his truck and we were cruising around and that song came on. And boom. Oh, wow. So, yeah.
And when I saw them, they closed with "For Those About to Rock, We Salute You." I always thought they should start off the whole show with "For Those About to Rock." That's how they should start it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Ray, do you want to add one? I mean, I'm sorry, Mr.
Ricky.
All right. No, I'm good. Go ahead.
All right. Cool. Al.
The song that started it all, man. First album, Kill 'Em All, Hit the Lights, man. You gotta throw that in there, man.
Nice.
I mean, just the fade in was like just the duh, and then the drum roll that Lars does, and then the pick scrape on the guitar, and then you just go to town, man. You just go off, bro. So I love Hit the Lights. I always love when they play that live too, man. If they bring it back, into the set, it's always fun to hear them play that. So such a raw opening for an album, man. I remember that's the very first song which came out on a Metal Massacre album. That was the very first song anybody ever heard by Metallica, which was on that Metal Massacre compilation. I think it was by Metal Blade by Brian Slagle, his Metal Blade label. They put Metallica on there, Hit the Lights, which is an earlier version, way before Kill 'Em All came out. I mean, I think that came out in 81, or 81 or 82. So a full year probably before even Kill 'Em All came out. And going back, I remember the underground taping, trading, and hearing the Leather, the No Life Till Leather, No Life Till Leather EP. It's amazing, like just to bring that up real quick, how Hetfield changed his vocal style between that demo and Kill 'Em All. Because if you listen to that No Life Till Leather, he's really singing in a high register. He's not doing that shouting technique. I don't know. So if you really listen to that demo and then listen to Kill 'Em All, he changed his vocal style to more of a shouting kind of vocal style. Whereas on No Life Till Leather, he's really singing in like this high register. We go back and listen to that. So I wonder like where in between like the recording of Kill 'Em All and that demo where Hetfield thought about changing his vocal style for the songs. You know what I mean? So it's something to ponder. I think maybe he thought maybe he thought he was singing a little bit too much in a Diamond Head style, because they really were sounding like Diamond Head on that demo. If you really listen to Diamond Head, listen to that demo, that was like one of their largest favorite band. You know what I mean? So yeah. Anyway, Hit the Lights is my number 3. So go ahead, Andy.
Oh, did you want to add something, Ray?
Oh no, I was agreeing with him. I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah. I was mentioning that a couple times, but I failed to have checked that out. So I put it on my phone so I remember No Life Till Leather.
Check out No Life Till Leather, and then listen to Kill 'Em All, and listen to those same songs, man. Yeah. His vocal style is completely different. As a matter of fact, when I first heard that, I thought maybe it might have been. I didn't even think it was Hetfield. I thought it might have been made like Dave Mustaine or somebody else singing. I really thought. But obviously it was James. But
cool.
I gotta check that out. I really do. My number 3.
Yeah.
My number 3 is going to be the way that it kicks off, and Justice for All, Blackened. That's such a brutal song. The lyrics are great. It's really great that you put on an album and the first song grabs your attention. Yeah. Just grabs your attention and grabs you and says, "Come on, let's go for a ride." So I'm going to go with Blackened as my number 3. Ignacio, what's your number 2?
Back to Justice, the Afraid Ends of Sanity.
Yes. That's a good one, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good track.
All them songs were long on there, man.
Yeah, but they were very interesting. It's not like, how much longer is this song? No.
Again, it's a progressive. Yeah. They got it's the progressive side of them. Yeah, they. So good. If you're gonna call like Metallica prog, that's the album really, and Justice for All, man. Yeah. So many time changes in one song. So.
If you burped, you missed half of the song. Or the change.
There you go. You missed the time change.
Yeah.
You missed the whole meaning. All right, Ray, what's your number 3?
The 2.
2.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Number 2 for me is the title track, "Master of Puppets."
Yeah. Nice.
Yes, sir.
Nice track.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. It's a great song, and killer live.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. I've heard it several times live, and it's always the crowd pleaser. It's always the crowd closer. It's so great, man. Al, you're number 2.
Dude, I'm same thing as the Ray, man. Master of Puppets.
Yes.
That opening sledgehammer riff, man, instantly recognizable. One of the most instantly recognizable songs. I would say that's probably their most recognizable song behind Enter Sandman, probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, yeah. The heavy recognizable and then the commercial recognizable.
Exactly. Yeah, you could. That's the two camps that you can really kind of see that. You see Metallica, Master of Puppets as like their grand opus of like this underground thrash band that just made it to the top, and that's like to me that's their zenith, their peak
Yeah,
as like their thrash band. Then when you can go to the Black Album, yeah, that's the peak commercially. You know
yes, totally.
that brought metal to the masses. You know, like just blew up this lid and just people that again that weren't particularly into heavy metal got into it. You know what I mean? So
100%.
there's two ways of looking at it. So yeah,
Yeah. My number two, I'm going to go to the Ride the Lightning album, which y'all had mentioned, Fade to Black. I love
Yes.
I
Yep.
love the way it builds up to such a euphoric feel
yeah.
on that track, and you can't help but sing along to it. So that's going to be my number two. All right, John. We are at number one. Ignacio, what do you got?
They got that failed.
Oh wow. God, that failed, man. That's a great that's another. You know, when I listen to the Black Album, man, I kind of tend to skip all the singles now, man. I just listen to Enter Sandman skip, Sad But True skip,
And I got another one. One for you, Al.
What's
Holier Than Thou.
Yeah, that's another great one. So those are the songs that I listen to when I throw that album on, Yeah. So except if I throw the vinyl on, then I listen to the whole album. But CD, I kind of skip those ones that are so overplayed, But they're overplayed for a reason because they're great songs. So so that's a good one, man. Was it The God That Failed? Yeah, good one, dude.
Hey Ray, so what's your number one Metallica song?
Okay, as I told you the story that really sold me on them, it's going to be from Ride the Lightning. And this is the song that absolutely, hands down, made me a fan for life. Trapped Under Ice.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. Opens up side 2, right? Yeah. There you go.
It does.
Killer song, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just was like, wow. The storyline too, Trapped Under Ice. What's more brutal besides burning to death? You know what I mean?
I know.
Either way, you're gonna suffocate.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're in hell one way or another.
Yeah. Yeah. Knowing that there's no way to live, that's crazy, dude. That's nuts. Well,
try out Trapped Under Ice, and then the riff behind it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Ricky, I really hope that you enjoyed our episode with us. Because we really enjoyed you being here with us. That was great of you.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me on, man. No problem.
Yeah, well, I hope that you had a good time with us.
Definitely.
All right, man.
Al, that's your number one.
We're winding down. So my number one, this has always been my number one song, Metallica. When I first, again, Ride the Lightning was the first album I heard by them. And this song as a kid hearing it, the subject matter of it. And, when you get later in your teens, everybody has their dark days and everything. And to me, I consider this their Stairway to Heaven, and it's Fade to Black, man. To me, that's Metallica's Stairway to Heaven, man.
Awesome.
Fade to Black. I mean, the way Andy was saying, it starts off very somber, and it, like Stairway to Heaven, it just has these building blocks. It just builds and builds and builds until it gets to this crescendo and climax, and it just. By the end of it, man, you're just completely into it, rocking out, And the subject matter of that is dark, man. I mean, it's about death, killing yourself, not wanting to live anymore. I mean, it's pretty dark subject matter, but I think it's kind of uplifting at the same time. The music at the end kind of just uplifts you. You know what I mean? It's there's not you don't have to go that way. You know what I mean? So. And I've thought about that, when I was younger. I mean, I think there's times when a lot of people think about that, whether it's very intense or just a passing thought. I think everybody gets down in the dumps once in a while and thinks about doing something unthinkable, and we all don't need to go that route, man. There's always light at the end of the tunnel, man. So
absolutely.
That's my number one, man. Fade to Black.
That's a great pick.
Yeah, it's a great song. I love it. That's why it was my number two. But my number one, will always be my number one off my
Lulu.
favorite album. Master of Puppets. It's gotta be. I mean, that song's got it all.
Master of Puppets rules.
Yeah, it's got it all. It's got the aggressive music, aggressive lyrics, aggressive singing, the slow down, and then the slow
The killer solo.
solo, and then the high intense solo, and then they bring it back. God, it's just a whole smorgasbord of feelings on that song. So that's my number one.
Awesome.
All right, thank you so much for joining us, guys. We really,
And one more-
appreciate it. Yeah.
And one more time, you guys plug your album, the name of it, when it's coming out, all that good stuff. Go ahead.
Go for it.
There you go. Look at
Yeah,
that.
there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on. Sorry, I'm a horrible camera guy.
That's all right, man.
Go on.
It's all
the
good,
name
bro.
of the album's
All right.
Win, Lose, or
There you
Draw.
go.
There you go. Iggy's is better.
Trying to avoid the glare there. There we go.
There you go, man.
The name of the album is Win, Lose, or Draw by Dawn of the Rising by these gentlemen here with us tonight. These three gentlemen.
Cool album cover, man. I like it.
Yeah, it's nice.
Thank you.
And
Zach R. Swell, drummer of Sick Monic, he did this painting. Here's the actual painting from that. Not many people have seen this.
Oh, cool, dude.
That's the
awesome.
actual painting that we got it from. And then we worked the art on the cover, everything else. But yeah, Zach did this painting, yeah.
awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Ray, tell them the story behind Zach. Zach actually has probably only been painting for what, maybe 6 months, 8 months, a year at the most.
Get out of here.
I'm not sure, maybe 2 years, but that's an oil painting, and he does a lot. Like you'll see him on our page, Zach R. Swell, and man, he's amazing.
Okay.
He started with his son. His son wanted to paint something, and so he kind of was just doing this little project thing with his son and did this painting.
I love that. That's cool, dude.
I posted
I
it
knew
on
you were gonna
Facebook
like
and
it.
That's a bad guitar, dude.
Yeah, he's a great
From our
painter.
good friends
and stuff.
from Dean.
He's a talented guy.
Awesome.
Period. He does all sorts of stuff. The guy's an amazing drummer. You should hear his drumming. He is just an amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
Sick Monic, they were one of the biggest bands in the Valley at one time, and they're hardcore, but they did like a copy. They did a cover of "Devil Went Down to Georgia," and the guitar player, he's like a guitar teacher, and he's a shredder. I mean, a ultimate shredder. But he'd play the violin. He'd put the guitar down and then play the violin on that. Oh my God, man, it's sick. Look that up. Sick Monic, Devil Went Down to Georgia. You'll be like, whoa.
I think it's on all the platforms. Actually, you can actually buy it. I think I bought it a while back ago, and I was just searching up some local stuff to get on a player, to play out and stuff. And I came across that. But yeah, it's a cool tune. You guys should check that one out. It's totally different than you've heard before. It's crazy.
Symphonic.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was the drummer. I don't think they're any longer a band, but they were technically sound. I mean, every single instrument was like phenomenal.
Right. You see, but that's another great thing about music. Even though the band might not be around, their music lives on.
Yes.
For people to hear forever,
Absolutely.
So the album comes out, guys.
That's Dawn of the Rising right there, Al.
On the 19th.
Yeah, that's cool, dude. That's pretty awesome, man. That's a live shot. When was that?
2021, was it, Ray?
It was August 2022 or 1, but it was opening for Flotsam and Jetsam.
Oh, wow, that's cool, dude.
At the Nile Theater in Mesa, Arizona. Yeah.
Oh wow.
You guys have opened up for some heavy hitters, man.
Yeah. We've been blessed in that, right? I'm so grateful. We opened for Anvil twice, once with Don Jameson, and those guys are really good. Have you guys ever met them? What a great bunch of dudes. There's only 3 of them, but they're so cool. I mean, they come out and hang out with everybody, and they have
Yeah. I saw them here in New Jersey a few years ago, and probably going back 10 years already. And when they had the documentary out, and they played a small little club here in New Jersey, and then I met Lips, I met all of them, all three guys, and they were really cool. You're right, man. After the show, they just come out and mingle with the crowd and hang out. Man, I got pictures with them.
I gotta add,
we had a great time with them.
Yeah, if you go on my
Lips
Facebook
and the
page,
bass
there's a picture of me and Lips, me a picture of me and Rob Reiner, the drummer.
Yeah,
big dudes, man. Killer drummer, man.
Oh,
yeah, and the new bass player guy, I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
And we were out back, backstage outside of the club, and he walks up and he goes, "Hey man, I really love your music." And I thought he was just a regular dude, you know what I mean? And I thanked him and I was appreciative, of course. And then they start, and I'm like, "Hey, that's that guy from out back," because he wasn't dressed like, for stage or anything. He just came out of the bus, had a bandana over his head. You know what I mean? And he looked like just a regular rocker dude. And then comes to find out, I'm like, whoa, man. And then it felt good for somebody with that stature to actually like your music and give you a compliment and pay you respects. I was like, man, these guys are cool. And Lips, just like you said, came out. He met everyone in the club. He didn't care. He waited until every single person walked up to him. He signed this shirt right here.
Yeah, I got a shirt signed by him too, man. It's not the one that I have. The one that I have has the maple leaf on it, man, and all three of them signed it. So
yeah, they're great dudes, man, and they deserve everything that comes to them.
Yeah,
yep.
They worked hard, man, all these years, man.
Oh yeah, and it's sad that they haven't got the recognition that they deserve, because honestly, they're a good band.
Yeah, they are, man. I saw them open up for AC/DC too at Giant Stadium in New Jersey, man.
Oh my God!
So they got to play a stadium, and they opened up for them, man. It was great,
Dude, I bet they loved hearing that story.
Oh yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? Because that's what they remember, and they were actually like a year ago touring Europe, and they were playing for crowds like that again because the movie was reissued and they got a new breath of life. And I was so happy because I follow them on Facebook, and I was very, very happy and heartfelt for them because they deserve it, and I was happy that they get to do that late in their career and they get some respect that they deserve.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, you guys, are you guys doing any live shows or anything soon?
Yes, we're doing the CD release on the 27th at the Blues Bar in Phoenix, Arizona. And we're working at the club I work at. We're going to be opening for Trickster.
Okay.
March, what is the date? March
22nd.
March 22nd at the 44 Sports Grill and Nightlife. And that's where I work as well. But Nancy Rosa and Robert Rosa, they're the owners, very good people, and it's a great place to see shows. We just saw Pretty Boy Floyd there. We had him in there. We get a lot of killer bands in there. That's where Iggy met George Lynch, was at the 44. And I love those people. They're my family. So if you ever come to Phoenix and you want to see a concert, go to the 44 on the west side. And that's where we'll be opening for Trickster on the 22nd of March.
I want to see you guys live, man. Hopefully you guys ever venture out of Phoenix at all? Or
yeah, we're going to try to get to the East Coast. When COVID, before it took all the tours out, we were going to be in West Virginia at Metal in the Mountains.
Yeah.
And that's not too far from Jersey, actually.
Well, I'm down in Florida now, so that's it.
Right. Well, it's maybe a little further from Florida.
Yeah.
How far in Florida are you?
I'm in the Tampa area.
Oh, okay, so you're at the top still. So
well, yeah, kind of like down a bit, almost mid, but on the West Coast though.
Well, we're gonna try. You guys share a couple of friends.
Miami, though.
You guys share a couple of friends that we share, and that's Aaron Camaro and Chris Sinzak of the Decibel Geek podcast. Yes. And we're trying to get on the Rockin' Pod and play there one day. So if we do that, maybe you can make it up there.
2025. I'm gonna definitely make that one, dude. So if you guys go there, man, I'll meet you guys and shit. So,
Definitely, we're gonna try for sure, and we're gonna be hopefully at the Josie Awards again in Nashville as well in October. So, we'll stay in touch and network, and maybe we can all link up one day and have a drink and toast.
Yeah, dude, definitely. I'm friends with you on Facebook, man. We keep in touch, bro.
Yeah,
So.
I will be in Phoenix the third week of October. My wife and I are going to go to Phoenix and the Grand Canyon, and we're going to do Arizona. So hopefully I can run into y'all or make it work.
Most definitely. You know what? You come down and come to the club, and I'll show you around Phoenix rock and roll scene.
Nice.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see. Hopefully, by the time you get here, we have a show booked in by that date.
Yeah.
Cool.
Close.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're visiting here, so
VIP, brother. VIP.
Absolutely.
Oh, I've never been VIP before. I'm not even VIP in my own house.
Yeah, but VIP. What Ray means with VIP is beer in the panza.
Yeah. So, I will let y'all know exactly what date I'll be in Phoenix, and we will definitely hook up and see what we can do together, even if it's just something to eat and
Yeah.
it'll be great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I want to say thank you to Ricky, Ray, and Iggy, man. Thank you guys so much for being on behalf of myself. I appreciate you guys. Go ahead, take it away, Andy. Take us out, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you all for watching. Thank you for all the wonderful comments for the band. And once again, their new album will be out this Friday on CD. Contact the guys for a copy of the CD. It's also going to be available on all streaming platforms. We were talking earlier on all the streaming platforms. Whatever you stream, type up Dawn of the Rising and
Support these guys, man.
Play this album and then try to get a hard copy of it.
And they do have their own YouTube channel as well. Go on there and check out their videos and all that good stuff, man. So Dawn of the Rising. Thank you guys.
We appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yes, so thank you so much for everything, guys. Thank you for your time, for your expertise in music, and for your love of music and sharing it with us. So thank you all so much. And Mr. Ricky, it was very nice to meet you. Hopefully we can have you on again. I really enjoyed your knowledge and your experience in the music.
Appreciate that, definitely. We'll see you when you come to Phoenix, man. No worries.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Sure. Yeah, I will be in contact with y'all. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Good night, y'all. Y'all
rock and roll, man.
Week.
Take care, brothers.
Thank you. Good night.
Yeah. Thanks. Good night.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah, guys.